Like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
With Morrison'S campaign on the offensive, can Albanese sharpen up after his bruising brain freeze? Only a week ago, the Prime Minister was facing one of the worst campaign lead-ins for an incumbent in memory. He was being called a bully and worse by those on his own side of politics. His own messy 2007 preselection battle was back in the headlines. And time was running out to call the election. What a difference firing the starter's gun and shifting into campaign mode has made. That, and Anthony Albanese's extraordinary day one blunder, more on this later. Scott Morrison entered the campaign knowing his personal popularity was a problem, hence his pleas not to make this a referendum on his performance. As one pollster notes, soft voters have been turning against Morrison and it is hard to win them back once they've judged a leader's character. The Prime Minister needed to reframe the contest. He acknowledged his own unpopularity. You go to the dentist, doesn't matter whether you like him or not. This election, he suggested, was not about him. By voting Liberal, you re-voting for yourself. Space to play or pause, M to mute, left and right arrows to seek, up and down arrows for volume. He rolled out the more popular Josh Frydenberg and Marise Payne to stand by his side. And on areas of policy vulnerability, like aged care, Morrison even suggested bipartisanship, borrowing the line his opponent often uses on national security: there is no difference between our policy and that of the Labour Party. The Morrison campaign also went on the offensive. The Prime Minister popped up in Labour-held marginal seats, Gilmore, Macquarie, Parramatta and Corrangamite. No defensive sandbagging in Liberal seats, yet. This was partly a show of early bravado and partly a reflection of the reality that the coalition's only chance of winning is to take seats from Labour wherever it can, given the inevitable loss of some of its own. Parliament, power and payouts. Morrison appears more comfortable campaigning than he often does governing. He pivots with ease from an uncomfortable question to the headline message he wants to deliver. Albanese, by contrast, is yet to strike the right balance between exhaustive, detailed answers and punchy slogans. The opening days of the campaign weren't all smooth sailing for the Prime Minister. Alan Tudge, we learned, is still in Cabinet, despite the Prime Minister only last month saying he was not seeking a return to the frontbench. It appears Tudge will return to Cabinet duties once the scrutiny of an election campaign has passed, and if the coalition wins a fourth term. Scott Morrison has again been questioned about a taxpayer-funded payment of more than $500,000 to a former Liberal staffer who accused her boss Alan Tudge of bullying, a claim he strenuously denies. Read more curiously, news.com.au revealed Tudge's former press secretary Rachelle Miller is on track to receive a taxpayer-funded payout of at least $500,000. For what, it is unclear. If the minister did no wrong, why such a large settlement? The Prime Minister says he has no visibility on private matters between Miller and the Finance Department. Voters are left to wonder, once again, about the culture of Parliament, power, and payouts. It was Anthony Albanese, however, who lost week one on day one. The Labour leader's failure to know the most important statistic in politics and instead take a wild stab in the dark hurt for many reasons. Unemployment was the very measure Labour itself set as the biggest test of the government's economic management during the pandemic. The number of people in work underpins everything from wage growth to the budget bottom line. Australia is not the only country enjoying historically low unemployment thanks to the billions pumped into the economy and record low interest rates during COVID, but it is still an impressive achievement. It is the government's strongest asset. Space to play or pause, M to mute, left and right arrows to seek, up and down arrows for volume. Gaffes, gotchas, and cold political calculations. Every campaign has its gaffes and gotchas, but Albanese in that Monday moment looked genuinely ill-prepared for the level of scrutiny leaders face once the contest formally begins. The brain freeze fed directly into criticism. Labour spent 3 years kicking Scott Morrison without coming up with its own plans. and it kept the focus where Morrison wants it, on macroeconomic strengths rather than micro kitchen table concerns. Some of the reactions from within Labour to Albanese's gaffe are too colourful to print. Everyone knew this was a damaging blow. Witness the efforts to immediately apologise, to make a virtue of accepting mistakes, and the repeated references to Albanese having studied economics at university. Most in Labour are confident the leader will learn quickly from the bruising experience and sharpen up.